poppycocks to poppy by four. And that's why all the folks on Poppycock keep poppycocks in a jar. But once I met a girl on Poppycock back in the Poppycock Hills, they won't let me back on Poppycock, reckon they never will. Well, Poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Poppycock, Poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. The earth don't spin at all on Poppycock, flatter than a hot roadkill. And beer don't stick to balls on Poppycock, reckon it never will. Once I met two folks on Poppycock, one bald, the other likes cats. She wild as a rosy, quicker than a satellite, no Poppycock about that. Well, Poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Poppycock, Poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Take a tray. Sheep don't like to flock on Poppycock, ain't no Poppycock pens. You might just find yourself on Poppycock, waking with a Poppycock kin. And Poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Poppycock, Poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Why so freaking early? Poppycock, you and me.
All right, good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. I am here. I am your host. I am Rose 777, and I'm actually by myself because the great Baldini could not make it. So let's all have a moment of silence for my wonderful co-host, who we will all miss, but we must press forward because there is so much Poppycock that we must release some of it from the jar before it explodes or combusts or ferments too hard. Like, who knows what could happen when you leave Perpy without releasing it. I've got a bunch of Poppycock from my Gmail inbox. Remember, if you want to send us your best Poppycock, you gotta email ThePoppycockReport at gmail.com. So I've got a bunch of stuff from there. And then I opened up News Maps and saw the most ridiculous stuff. I was just going to display it on the screen so people can see headlines because they change so often. But I saw such ridiculous ones that I just had to click on them and get them saved on a new tab in case they got lost in the Poppycock. All right, so let me see here in the comments who's with me this morning. I've got Juan Torres. What's up, man? Hola. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está usted? We've got Young Love 4020, Jenny Mikowski, Voynich, artist known as Lisa, Billing Tano Bear, No Despair Bear, Ryan Q, Vincent, Wanderer of the Zone, Nachiketa, Steve Federo. It's so wonderful to see you all. Kelly F.E., Rocker Chick. Awesome. And then I also want to shout out to D Live. I did not want to forget you guys. I love you guys so much. I see Werebear. I see Charlo Bear. I see Seal Kid Bear. Do not worry. I will not forget to release the lemons. And yes, Werebear, Baldini, maybe he will be able to join towards the end. I did put down the link to join, and I'm going to put that here in DLive. If anyone wants to click on this link, you can join me. I already have the Essence of Earl all queued up. How's everyone doing? How did everyone sleep? I want to know. I had my 2 sleep sessions. I always sleep for one chunk of time. And then when I wake up, I stay up for like an hour, a good solid hour. I started trying to pay attention to how long it was because I was curious, and it's consistently about an hour. Does anyone else do that, or is that just me? I'm pretty sure that's really bad for you. I don't think that this is a good thing that I do. So maybe I need to work on that and just kind of try to rush back before my brain wakes up too much. But, I get these comments all the time just saying things like, Rose, 777 is an evil number. How do you sleep at night, you crazy bitch? And I just want to tell you all that I just do it very, very carefully. And I like to use Lucid pillows. I have a Lucid bed. If you go to the Lucid website, you can just buy the pillows. And the pillows are so good. I put one behind my back. I put one in between my legs. I have a huggy pillow in front of me, and then one on under my neck if I'm sleeping on my side. Do we have any side sleepers in the house? I want to know. But then there's also stomach sleeping, which is really good. See, I think all of the sleeping positions are okay. Some people are partial to one. But anyway, yes, very carefully is my answer to how do you sleep at night. All right, let's get rid of this banner here, and let's release the Perpy. All right, let me stop that. Gosh, it's really quiet here without Baldini, everybody. All right. So I got sent this one right here. I'm sorry that it looks a little bit small, but it says Russia uses ice rink as COVID field hospital. And I remember I was getting a lot of these earlier on at the beginning of all of this. Maybe it was around March, April, June, where people were saying, oh, I have inside information. My friend works for this company or that company that provides this kind of materials or whatever thing, and they're filling a warehouse with beds. Dun, dun, dun. And just even from the beginning, I just called Poppycock on it. No matter what someone said, no matter how convincing it was, like, oh, it's, the beds, my friend installed the call buttons on 4,000 beds. Like, I don't even care. And I'm not even saying I don't believe that their friend installed call buttons to beds. I just never saw any evidence of any kind of room being filled except on television. And I just don't feel like it's going to happen. Yes, there is the theory that, they released the Poppycock COVID, and got the conspiracy theorists to call Poppycock on something, and then they're going to release the real one that's really going to kill all the people, and now all the hospitals are going to be filled, and now all the warehouses with the 4,000 beds with call buttons and, whatever special hazmat suits is going to be filled. I just don't buy it. But hey, I reserve the right to be completely wrong. So we are in November now. It's been like 8 months. So let's see what happens there. Let's see if I am called out for being completely wrong, and it may happen. All right. A 4-billion-year-old rock from Earth discovered on the moon. Okay. So they're saying, okay, there's this rock, and it turns out that the origin is actually Earth. Now we know all of this is poppycock to begin with, but I'm trying to wrap my head around the actual intention and purpose in terms of brainwashing with this article. And doesn't it kind of remind you of the end of Planet of the Apes, where it's like the whole movie, you think that they're on this faraway planet, but then the whole time you realize at the very end with the Statue of Liberty that they were there the whole time. I'm just getting that whole kind of vibe. And that moment isn't necessarily deception, more like, oh, they didn't understand and now they know. But I just think that we are entering an era of more understanding and things being revealed. And then it's up to us what we do with that information. Are we going to accept it and have them complete their bullshit with their revelation of the method and getting us to consent to it? Or are we going to recognize the nonsense and call it out? Well, I'm so happy that everyone is here with me today to call out the poppycock on this freaking nonsense. What do you think, guys? Now I just have a funny thing that I just wanted to show. Breaking news, child brainwashed by basement cat. Yeah, so basically I am that child, and except times 5, there's 5 cats that have brainwashed me. So this is where you're getting your information from, I'm just warning you. And then also this is just something I saw that I thought really resonated with me. Even if the bee could explain to the fly why pollen is better than shit, the fly still wouldn't understand. And that's how I feel with these motherfuckers that just sit in front of their television all day, just believing all this stuff. They love it, you guys. Just like Brian and Stephanie, who traumatize me every time that they say they love the mask. Like they love the news, they love the mask, and it just hurts my soul. It's like, how do people love the mask? Like I understand people being scared and wearing the mask, and I understand people that are wearing the mask because they're having to conform because they don't want confrontation, but I don't understand loving the mask, guys. It's not cool. But that's just me. I just happen to be a bee. And I think that bees are cool. I don't mind flies. I just wish that they would know that there's so much more to the world than shit. But, they were born and bred to eat shit. And that's basically how the people who are acting like farm animals are. They are being turned into farm animals. So anyway, let's move on and not be too mean to the normies this morning. It's really the poppycock that we're calling out here. So this might be an older one, but I think this is just a good meme. Humans are causing Earth to wobble. Is that an old one? You guys will have to let me know. But I was sent this, yet sundials are still keeping perfect time. Now, you guys, I'm new to to studying and researching flat Earth, and so if I ever present something that actually isn't a good flat Earth proof, or if I'm mistaken, like when I was talking to the pilot and I showed him the meme that's like, oh look, if Africa's on this side of the globe, then that means everything else is on the other side, and he held up a little globe and showed me that is how it is. And so I was like, okay, I learned something. That was my argument was poppycock. I will concede and not use that argument again, because why use shitty arguments when it's so freaking flat and so obvious? You just stick to the things that make it absolutely undeniable, like the fact that we can see too far and that water always keeps its level. Oh, and then just here's another little picture of my niece Talia. Hey Talia, doesn't she look perfect? Is it just me, or is it because like she's my niece that she looks particularly perfect? I definitely thought that Kelsey's baby was like stupid perfect. She looks like a little kidney bean, doesn't she? Okay, I'll move on. Some people get pissed off with baby pictures. I don't want to be like that. There's a couple more though coming up. All right, so here's another bit of poppycock. China grew a plant on the moon and it sprouted 2 leaves, data indicates. I want to see that data. What does that data look like that indicates the sprouting of 2 leaves? And why do they need to use data instead of just a fucking picture, you guys? Why can't they have you know what would be really cool? You go on YouTube and you see these time-lapse videos of plants and they get millions of views. YouTube could sponsor a time-lapse of this beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful plant. Like it could look like this for all we know. Look how yummy that looks. I want to eat that leaf. It's a good thing that I'm not on the moon with that plant, because it would end their research for sure. Oh my goodness. China, the lunar rover carried among its payload a small biosphere that housed 6 life forms, including cotton seeds. Okay, what's going on with the cotton? I want to know what the esoteric meaning of the cotton is in this ritual where they're lying to us about putting plants on the moon. What is going on?
This is Poppycock.
Oh no, how long was I muted? Crap. Oh no. Oh no, how long was I muted? Crap. I don't want to repeat myself, but at least you had. Okay, crap. Damn it. Damn it. I'm so pissed off. All right, we must move on. I had to jiggle the thingy. and my mic got disconnected, and then when I jiggled it and it started working again, it automatically muted me. But yeah, cotton plants, what is the meaning of it? But yeah, we are back to talking about the astronauts, and they have emotional needs, and that's why they need to have space dining. And then also, what is with this like supposed idea that they're losing their sense of smell? What is with it? Why do you think, why do they think that, or why do they say that? And isn't it interesting that they say COVID, no smell? But when people are like, oh, I had COVID and I lost my smell, don't people always lose their smell when they're congested? All right, we've got Talia again. Hello, Talia. Now, this is really sad. This is so freaking sad. This is my mom meeting my niece, okay, first grandbaby, in a freaking mask. When she sent me this picture, I said, oh my gosh, take off that mask. She needs to see your beautiful face. Like, you could tell the top part of her face looks nice, but like, I can't tell what my mom looks like with half of that mask, and it bothers me. And she's my freaking mom, and I'm freaking 35 years old. So this is the first time that she met. She didn't have a freaking face, and she never took the mask down the whole time she was there. This is so crazy. I don't know if I'm ever going to meet this baby, unless they end the mask fashion statement. So anyway, I'm just going to state for the record, Talia, I love you. I can't wait to meet you. I hope it's not when you're 18 years old. All right, here's some more Poppycock. New York bar urges state to consider COVID vaccine mandate. Now, since when does the Bar Association have anything to do with making recommendations for how things should be legislated and what like legal ideas should be implemented? This is so retarded. It really makes me mad. And especially since the Bar Association is part of the British Royal Crown. So I just don't understand why that's even okay. But they say that they passed a resolution. So the Bar Association passed a resolution urging it. So they make it seem like a resolution is this legislative term, but really it's just basically something that's urging the state to consider, please consider mandating the vaccinations if expert medical and scientific consensus decides it is necessary. So what is with all of these ifs? Like, if they're so passionate about this that they're urging it, they can't even decide for themselves whether it is. They're just like, oh, well, if you guys think this, then please do it. It's just screaming too much poppycock for me. I can't even handle it. And then here's another one. In patients with no previous psychiatric history, a diagnosis of COVID-19 was associated with increased incidence of a first psychiatric diagnosis in the following 14 to 90. So yeah, you click on this link and it looks like one of these official peer-reviewed studies, bidirectional associations between COVID-19 and psychiatric disorder, retrospective cohort studies of 62,354 COVID-19 cases in the USA. Okay, so there was 62,000 COVID cases that showed up for this particular specific study. And they've probably just been doing that the last 8 months. Really. Oh my goodness. So yeah, they're basically talking about anxiety and depression. So if you're told that you have a disease that's killing all these people, that's taking over the world, and also think about the shame someone feels if they believe in the virus and then they're told that they have it, like, oh, they must have not worn their mask right, they must have not social distanced right, they must have done something wrong, so they're a bad person. Obviously, that's going to give them anxiety and depression. It's not like just having a random cold and being like, okay, I can't go to work for a day because I'm a little bit congested and my body needs to rest as I detox. It's more like, oh my gosh, I have the disease that is like ruining the entire realm of existence in this slavery system. It's crazy. So yeah, that's no surprise to me, that the cases would be having anxiety and depression. All right, here's another article I was sent, and it was the case with Spanish flu. We now have to expect that the second wave will be more severe during a video conference with the government's Council of Economic Advisors. Oh, whoops, I went down too far. We've got Another article here, parental concerns over vaccine safety has contributed to several major outbreaks of preventable diseases in the US and other countries in recent years. So let me break that down for you. Parental concerns over vaccine safety. So those 5 words means anti-vaxxers, conspiracy theorists. That's what they're insinuating, but they're trying to sound all official. See, they just deliver their propaganda in many different ways. Some of it is subtle and some of it is blatant, but they're basically saying that it's parents who are concerned parents, it's your fault that there's been outbreaks of preventable diseases. So parents, all of you parents out there, especially my sister who just had a baby, and all of the mothers out there who have ever had a baby, imagine having a baby and me telling you, you need to stop being concerned. Okay, go ahead. You've just given birth to your own genetic offspring, a new thing that is in this realm of existence for you to love, a piece of you to love with all of your heart and soul. Go ahead and stop being concerned about there. Ooh, Baldini, you saved me. How are you? Baldini.
I've been here for a while.
No, you haven't. I
Since
just heard a beep.
yeah, like 10 minutes. I've been trying to get a hold of you in the chat and Messenger. I knew if I called you, you wouldn't pick up. So,
well, welcome to the show.
hey, thanks. I'm back.
Yay!
I heard your little Mike episode. I was like, oh no, I can't save her.
How long did that last?
About a minute. It wasn't too bad. Just
shame.
about 60 seconds. It wasn't just enough for everybody to go, oh no.
Oh, well,
Hey,
I said
good
a lot of
morning.
interesting stuff.
I caught most of it. I started listening in about 5 minutes after. I had to get a few things done, and then at 10 after I was ready to go. But I sat here patiently waiting. I was about to go back to bed. I was like, I get to sleep in, but no. Well, good morning, everybody. How are you?
Yay. Okay. That was the longest 22 minutes of my life. I hope the Poppycock was okay without you. I'm so glad that you're here again. Do you have any comments about anything that I said before I continue?
You know, only I'm with you on the mask thing. I was gonna joke and say that I was gone because I had to get tested for the cranny, but it did not. No, I did not do that.
That's not funny.
That is not what happened. I promised. Oh dear. No, you do great. You're a lovely hostess. The hostess with the mostest. Keep going.
Okay, but the Poppycock Report would not be the Poppycock Report without you, because you're so amazing. Okay,
No,
look at this.
I just have poppycock. That's all.
Yes. Have you ever heard about food rationing? Families and kids had to save food that became hard to get during the war. This way, all Canadians would get their fair share. So,
oh dear.
Oh my goodness. So they're pre-programming kids to learn about food rationing. It's just insane. And you know what? It reminds me of also how on social media, they were showing things like Nicole Kidman showing off that she can eat bugs and that she loves eating crickets. And then one time Matt Landman suggested that Jason and I watch this movie called Snowpiercer, and I only lasted the first 5 minutes.
Oh, when they were eating the bug.
Yeah. So I couldn't even watch the film because it was such a slap in the face, and I just got really upset and annoyed, and I hate the formulaic way of new films, and I couldn't stand like the sound effects and like the boom boom, background music. It's just too much of a formula. I feel like I'm just literally seeing cookie cutters. I do feel like I'm just seeing like the little letters going down the screen, like I can see through the matrix. Like I'm not even like seeing something that I'm supposed to enjoy. So I just left. But in that movie, they were eating these like little cubes of sludge, and I guess they turned out to be bugs. So yeah, they're just trying to get people to just feel normal about eating less.
Bugs and people. They recycled people in that too. So they told them it was bugs, and it turned out to be people. I mean, it was partly bugs and partly people. Yeah. Oh, you have a Florida man.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here for the Florida man. It's just I don't want to talk about Florida man without you, but this is kind of fucked up because he called the police, called 911 reporting aliens, and people do report aliens all the time. And yes, I know that 911 is to be taken very seriously, and it makes sense that 911 itself would, want to enforce that it be taken seriously. But I feel like this might be a little bit of geographical profiling against the Florida man. I don't know if it's racial profiling or Florida man profiling, but I feel like if it was a 4-year, maybe it's just in context. If it was a 4-year-old kid calling 911 with talking about aliens. I just don't think they'll be arrested. I don't understand why he had to be arrested. Why can't they just say, don't do that? Did he keep calling back over and over again? Please, please hurry. I mean it.
Well, I guess I suppose it would depend on whether, he was under the influence. He might have been. And I suppose, in their minds, the popo, they decide, might determine that he was inebriated and they needed to take him in if that's why he was seeing aliens, but he might have been seeing something. I mean, why do we consider that people who hear voices are psychotic? Maybe they are. I mean,
but it's okay. He could have seen, it's normal to see UFOs. He probably just didn't realize it was human technology. And also further down in this article, it talks about he did have prior charges. But here's the thing, Baldini. They were kind of serious charges. I can't remember if they were so like immoral, but they were, I don't know, maybe, yeah, they were immoral. But like, the thing is if he had previous charges, then he knows not to fuck with this shit, So why would he seriously must have been so scared. Whatever he saw, he was serious, because why would he risk getting in trouble and like messing with the law? Like, people who have had charges in the past and have already been to jail don't call 911 generally.
Right.
So very interesting, right?
Yeah. Again, it's a weird. I mean, you're just going to tell people then if they actually see something, don't call 911 because you might get arrested if you're not going, with the official narrative. And that's what we're hearing all the time: is if you don't accept the official narrative, you're crazy or a criminal. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's just a popular statistic that a lot of people don't even realize that there is a high percentage of people who call the police and end up getting arrested
or killed.
Let's
not point out that many times domestic violence situations, which were just heated arguments, or people who are depressed often end up finding themselves on the slab, specifically because, the police feared for their lives. And if you're that scared, you don't need to have that job. But anyway, let me not get on that rant, because I will go off on that. I'm not a big fan of the police state. I don't have anything against people. So if the people who do that job, I kind of feel sorry for them. I'm a little disgusted by often who they are, but the entire premise of the current militarized police state and what it is, and that they see the quote civilians as the enemy, is very problematic. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. All right, look here at the Europa. It's now glowing in the dark and providing us clues, yada, yada. You look more into the article, and it's even saying that there's a possibility of supporting life. I mean, I remember that in school, they made it abundantly clear that they already had enough knowledge to confirm without a shadow of a doubt that there's no possibility that life could be on Jupiter. But now they're starting to talk about there being life on the Jupiter's moon? Baldini, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. And of course, I'm still mad at myself for accepting the idea that, for example, Jupiter is a gas giant. How do you have gas in a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum? Yeah. Because like it has mass? No. There's no covalent bonding. Yeah. So anyway.
I've always known that was poppycock. I just didn't have the guts to fight it. I just got shut down by the teachers. Now this one, okay, we need to seriously figure this one out. We need to rate this on the poppycock scale. Ever since 9/11, when they implemented the TSA, maybe I had this erroneous belief that this was impossible. This person supposedly just snuck onto a plane. Like, look, I know I probably will never be able to sneak on a plane since I require so much assistance to get on it. But, this really intrigues me. Is it really possible that someone could just walk through all that stuff sneakily off to the side, like, bending below those, the little line tapes that go around, and just being a ninja? Is this possible, or is this total poppycock?
I don't know. That's pretty rough. I could see you maybe skirting one or two layers of security at the airport, but getting onto the plane, I don't know. That seems like it's a promotional ticket for Jay-Z.
Perhaps.
Like who wants to see Jay-Z that bad? Really? No, I don't think so.
Exactly. You would think that it would be like, okay, this person snuck on a plane who was trying to smuggle a diamond or save a baby in some way. Maybe
she stuck Jay-Z up, or no, because that's how they do drugs. I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
And then here's another article here that's talking about how actually the cause of death in this quote unquote viral flu is actually bacteria. So they're basically just showing people that it's not even a virus that's killing people. Isn't that crazy?
It is indeed. Yeah, I have some. I have some poppycock standing by too. I got one that's kind of related to that, but.
Okay, all right, no worries. That's the end of my overlay.
Oh, is that your
poppycock.
overlay poppycock? Okay.
Yeah, but I have just a few more. I had the news maps up. I'm going to ditch that tab because you're here now. But let's see. One,
I would keep that
two,
tab, just in
three,
case.
4. I already did it. Sorry, I should listen. I should have waited. I have 4 tabs here. Okay, so let's just show these 4 pieces of poppycock that are quite interesting. Let's see. COVID-19 scare unfolds aboard first cruise to resume sailing in the Caribbean. So obviously,
Scare.
the first, yes, they've got to make it scary. The first cruise in the Caribbean, there was a scare. But when they say it was a scare, doesn't that mean that actually nothing happened and they just got scared?
Yep. That's pretty much what that means.
People went on a cruise and they got scared.
And they got scared. Oh, be afraid. The cranny.
Was it in October? Maybe it was a Halloween. Maybe
Yeah.
it was fitting where you go on a cruise even though you're scared shitless that you're going to die. That sounds fun, right?
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff. So,
All right. What next here? Oh yeah. This is the best one. I'm going to give it to you after this. But
Okay.
oh no, I'm not. I don't want to sign up. Here's the X. You always have to go into a Zen place and look for the X. All right. Do you see it now?
No thanks. I'm a
How to
turkey.
decline Thanksgiving in the name of COVID. Don't you usually do things in the name of God or in the name of Jesus?
Oh,
but
man.
in the name of COVID, Rose, you cannot
Stop
meet my
in
daughter
the
Talia.
name of COVID.
In the name of COVID, you cannot meet your niece, Rose.
Before you kill Nana, you Nana killer.
Oh, it's just
dear.
too much, Balti. Okay, let me give it to you. I had 2 more, but they're not that. Oh, be quiet. I hear this article is making noise. Shut up,
dear.
article. Oh yeah, but really, wait. Okay, let me just say what it is. Tokyo Olympics may allow foreign fans, but there will be rules. I just want to scroll down and see if there are special rules in the article. If they're just saying that they're thinking about what the rules will be. No, they're just talking about a shitload of anxiety. Okay, so there's that. And then the last one was, that Bill and Melinda Gates are adding $70 million funding to get COVID-19 vaccines for the poor. Oh my gosh, because we have to save the poor people. And you know that they definitely have the poor people's best interest in mind.
Yeah, I'm sure they're giving those away too. Uh-huh. Now that'll be funded by somebody else.
All right, it's your turn.
Right. Well, with the cranani, you got now, it's a sexually transmitted disease. Researchers find
please.
virus can invade male organ, not your piano, but your organ. Yeah. So, and they're saying that they found they have found the cranani in men's testicles as well. So,
They were
yeah.
doing that at the beginning. Baldini, I remember, I think I heard the Zulu One reading the article about how they were finding COVID in sperm.
Yep. Yeah, this is actually a new one. So this is a recent article. They're saying it's invaded the penis now. So we got that going for us, which is nice. I have to sneak out of that real quick there. And then this is some poppycock I had from Tuesday, and I forgot to release it, so it's been hiding in the jar. Well, let me do this one first. Oregon became the first state to decriminalize hard drugs like cocaine, heroin. They didn't mean it legalized it. They decriminalized small amounts of it, but we have that. And so then we found a whole bunch of people. This is their response is
Cholera?
they're headed to the Oregon Trail. They're headed to Oregon because they want those drugs.
They want all the leftover cocaine in everyone's pocket.
You're right. The leftover cocaine. That's the way they're going to find that. Johnny Depp taking a hit. From giving hits to Amber Heard. That's what we heard. So he got removed after his court case for defamation. When Amber Heard, they branded him a wife beater. He got kicked off the Fantastic Beasts franchise. apologize. Again, I don't care about any of this because I don't watch the movies, but I just think it's funny. And then after getting kicked off, of course, he's getting his full salary, but now there's a petition to get his return. Gets over 100,000 signatures. So we'll see if his cancel is canceled or they cancel the cancel. Hard to tell.
Baldini, I just realized something. Remember the show Cops, which they canceled because of BLM?
Yeah.
So I just realized now that I know so much about cocaine from all of the Secrets of Saturn jokes. No, I'm just kidding. But that must all of those little teeny tiny itty bitty bags of cocaine must have been planted, because who just has that teeny tiny bit of cocaine?
Nobody has leftover cocaine. That's the deal.
So
exactly.
Now I feel like I just grew up and understand more about the poppycock.
Exactly. It is poppycock. And I got to just clarify for those who are curious. No, I hate cocaine. I just like the smell. All right. So, yes, we have more embezzlement, former California embezzlement, former Caledonia water manager embezzlement, former Cape Cod bookkeeper pleads guilty to embezzlement, former Durango finance. So former embezzlement, former principal embezzlement, but still we've added the legal issues in that. So I'm still keeping an eye on embezzlement because
it doesn't end.
Because it never ends. That's right.
It's a new segment of our show. It seems.
It is embezzlement. So there we go. Let's see. We covered that one already. We have. So Biden now is. So here's a thing I wanted to kind of point out, that supposedly President-elect Biden, and we covered this pretty clearly on Secrets of Saturn last night. This appears to be a script, without getting too deeply into that, because we covered it pretty clearly last night. I just wanted to point out again that he has done now several supposedly news conferences and using basically a seal that says the office of the president-elect. And by the way, there is no such thing. And that is actually a federal crime to do so. There is no such office, and to use any marks, nomenclature, or any such thing that makes it seem as though you have an authority when you do not. He's a private citizen, even though he is a former vice president. That's in violation of federal law, according to 18 U.S. Code, Article 709. So just point out that he is breaking federal law every time he gives a, quote, briefing. It's not a briefing, it's his opinion. And we'll see what happens as much as the news media keeps crying foul, and that there is, these baseless claims. The numbers themselves, if you know anything about statistics, would indicate that there is definite cheating going on, probably on both sides. So we got that going, which is nice. So I had a quick Florida man here as well. This Florida man holds dog for $20,000 ransom.
Why? What kind of dog is it, and who is the owner? Who would be able to pay that?
I don't even care. And I couldn't remember if I covered this one or not, because I had it in my tabs that this guy, Florida man, broke into multiple homes and he ate their food. So some people are thirsty. He's hungry. So we got that going, which is nice.
Actually, that just makes me sad, because maybe he was just hungry, and it's sad that people get to such a desperate place that they cannot. Well, I mean, aren't there places to get food?
There are.
Breaking into people's houses.
Yeah, I wouldn't want.
Desperate?
Yeah, I wouldn't want this guy in my house. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't invite him over for Thanksgiving dinner, Cranani or not.
I'm not saying that I would go into my kitchen and be like, "Oh, hello, I'm happy to see you here," but it's just a sad situation all around. It just reminds me of the human condition. I start doing math in my head about how we got here and how we could turn ourselves around, and just I want to live in a world where people aren't pushed to that spot, or be the kind of people that you don't want in your kitchen. But I have to accept the fact that human beings are different, and that people aren't always going to get along with each other, and that
Indeed.
also people have to respect each other's privacy. It's just so interesting that we're all stuck here in this realm of existence through this hardship, and we all have to go through this hard thing with each other. We need each other, but also some of us can't stand each other. So that's the human condition.
There you go. Speaking of human condition, well, it's not just you, the human condition. On 11/11/2020, the biggest, there's a bunch of numerology in there. YouTube went down for more than an hour yesterday worldwide.
Yeah,
a lot of questions about that, especially since some people in Canada, especially Vancouver, had no trouble whatsoever. So it does seem that they did an interesting thing wherein... Yeah, they were also in Germany. So so some of they've got multiple servers now. They don't hold them all in one place, but it does seem that they're trying to go through and clean up any actual indications. Some of the original articles and videos that had appeared showing some voter irregularity, let's call it that, in the United States had suddenly been removed after this issue. So pretty interesting there. I also happen to notice this symbol here at the bottom of the Verge. The Verge symbol is a pedophile symbol. So we got that going, which
Wait,
is
hold on. I'm not looking carefully enough. Where is the symbol?
right here at the bottom
I
right.
see it in
Yeah.
the lower right-hand corner of your screen. The upside-down swirly triangle
There you
is
go.
a known, admittedly, by the FBI, looking in documents, it is like the boy lover.
That's correct. Very good.
Boy lover thing.
Yep, there
It's
you
very
go.
bad, in my opinion.
Well, Stanford has long been known as a hangout for those in the alphabet community, and we're not talking Alphabet, the company. We're talking, the FBI, CIA, and all those other fine folks who have your best interest at heart. So Stanford is a big hangout there. I almost went to law school there, by the way. So the scientists there, they have a computer model predicting COVID-19 spread in cities. You can always tell if it's a computer model, it's almost always going to be Poppycock, because that's how they do is Poppycock. And more again about you can't get anywhere near the news without them breaking out the election nonsense. And they're calling, of course, I saw some of the worst reporting that I'd ever seen from Fox News, who typically leans right and has been supportive of the president during the last 4 years. They were reporting on some guy in Philadelphia where a huge amount of irregularities occurred, even at just first blush, just prima facie. And they were making a big deal about this guy's a Republican and he says there's no problem. And he had the gall to say, oh, we just completed the most transparent and veracity poll in history. Yet, no, that's a lie. And then they just kept saying, oh, I just can't believe anybody would believe these lies. If you have anything, any background at all with statistics, if you even know what statistics are and how it works, you could look at some of these numbers and right on the face go, that ain't right. So there is no way, again, with what was going on, that Biden outperformed in some cases better than Obama and HRC combined in the last two elections. There's
Very
no
weird.
effing
Baldini,
way.
can I jump in here really
Yes,
quick?
please.
When you were mentioning computer models, I forgot to point that out when I was sharing an article about measuring the anxiety and depression in patients with COVID, or they call them
Oh,
cases.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? In the article, they outright admit that the way that they derived their information in order to do this quote unquote study was with anonymous data in a network computer model. So it's all complete bullshit. It's just analyzing numbers, and if you really think about it, if you really think it through and think about how they would all of the ways that they could possibly derive this data, and when you think about the allopathic model and about the implementation of pharmaceutical medications, are you really learning anything of value from this shit? No.
Also wanted to point out real quickly that the person that, quote, president-elect, we'll see about that, Biden, he picked longtime aide, served as his aide as he was vice president under Obama, Ron Klain. And interestingly enough, Ron Klain claimed in a 2014 tweet that somebody said that it looks like election fraud, that says that people will not accept the election because it appears to be rigged. And he said that's because they are. He tweeted that in 2014. So just going to point out that the chief of staff, the new chief of staff for Biden, he has tweeted himself that all elections are rigged, which we pointed out previously. So we have that going for us, which is nice. And yeah, nothing to look at here. Personally, I think the reason that they don't want anybody to look at the results is because they are. There's voter irregularity everywhere. So There you go. So I think it would be, we got 15 minutes left if we want to release the essence of Earl, unless you have more of the poppycock.
Yes, I have the essence of Tiny Earl on the
Oh,
screen like right
is that
now.
Earl?
So
He doesn't look
yeah.
tiny though.
Oh, but he is. He's Tiny Earl.
Hmm.
He's the Tiny Earl of the day. You don't think that he looks like a Tiny Earl? Ha! My
He
name's
doesn't. He
Tiny
doesn't look
Earl.
tiny. He looks like Earl, but not tiny. He looks like
I
my
reckon.
name is Earl.
Well, there's obviously a very interesting inside joke prior story from his past that you wouldn't know unless you were good friends with him that explains why he's Tiny Earl.
Oh, I got it. Okay, it's the name given to him by his ex-wife. I got it.
No, I'm just saying like something happened in his past, and so yeah, if anybody wants to be creative and write me a story about how he became known as Tiny
That's
Earl,
my story. It's
I'll
it's
read it
it's,
on the
it's his
next.
name given to him by his ex-wife in his past. She
Oh,
called him
Baldini.
Tiny, and that's why they're no longer married.
All right, so yeah, it's on the screen. It's tinyurl.com/1112 poppycock. Please
Perfect, Kirk.
join us.
I would love to. I would love to chat with somebody. We have a full 14 minutes.
Yeah, we do. And while we're waiting for someone, I want to give a shout out to Alex, who created a flat earth flyer. And Alex, every day for the past couple of shows, I've been trying to bring this up on my screen. And I realized this is the problem. You emailed this to Rose Davidson FOR Humanity when my email address is actually Rose Davidson the number 4 Humanity. But I got the email address Rose Davidson FOR Humanity so many years ago just in case someone made that mistake, and it finally came to use
You're badass.
because it was on my phone. So I forwarded the FOR Humanity to my I'm sorry, to ThePoppycockReport.com. And so now I have it. Now I do see that a guest has joined, but I just want to share the screen really quick so people could see this flat earth flyer that was created, and I can email this to you if anyone wants to, so you can print it out. Now, I was showing this to people at Flatoberfest because I wanted advice, and a lot of people thought that it should be flashy and less words and just get people to go to the websites and stuff. But I think that there's tons of stuff out there like that. Like, how David has his short videos that look beautiful and have the pretty piano music to like pull people in and get them interested. But I think that there's also some people out there that really do benefit from just seeing what the information is, because so many times people think that this is absolutely ridiculous. They really don't see the purpose in just finding out what it is that flat earthers think. They just won't even look because it's got to be crazy, right?
Immediate dismissal. Yeah.
Yeah, immediate dismissal. So I'll just get right into it. How can a pressurized atmosphere exist directly adjacent to the alleged most powerful vacuum of space? And honestly, Baldini, when people would say, oh, the gas giant planets, I don't know. I had this idea in my mind of what a planet was. And when someone said a gas planet, I just thought, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, at the time, I just accepted everything. While we are waiting, just wanted to again bring this up. Mac Parhar, Flat Earth Fucker. He's going to fight the man in Canada there, and so you can continue to donate to him either through the site here, and it says $1,000. We've already given him $1,150, and there's more yet that I have yet to give him, plus what people have donated directly to him. So keep it up, folks, if you can. Make sure and donate to Mac to cover his expenses while he can't work right now because they've closed down his business. They've revoked his business license, and he is going to fight this full time. So go Mac, go Flat Earth Fucker, and of course, as I have been saying of late, fuck the fucking fuckers. So we got that going, which is nice. All right, who do we have with us?
We have Voynich with us. Good
Voynich.
morning, Voynich. How are you?
I'm quite okay.
Beautiful.
I'm a bit tipsy already, though.
Wow. Well, you
Really?
can't drink all day if you don't start when you get up. So
Well,
Right?
you're in the Netherlands, so it's already it's the afternoon at least.
Yeah, it's already near 5. It's already near 5 o'clock, so I'm safe. But
Yeah.
yeah, but sometimes some days you just need something to get you going, just to get some excitement in your body, because well, it's not the people that can arouse me anymore.
oh dear.
right? But no.
No, I know what you mean, Voynich. Baldini, don't make jokes.
Okay, but I probably used the wrong English word, but aroused like in a broader sense of words.
Yeah,
interest.
like people are just so disappointing and predictable, and people have really have let me down. I had a lot more hope for humanity, and I'm trying to stay positive, but I had hope that millions of people could like wake up before something like this was implemented so aggressively and quickly, and so it had impacted.
When I plan to go out, Rose and Baldini, when I plan to go out, I am sad, But when I'm out there, and facing people, I'm happy because I see people, and so I will just keep that smile on my face because I am happy to see those people, and I just want to have a good time. I just want to be free. Want to have a good time.
That is what life is about.
Yeah, right.
It's about enjoying the moment and not having your rights infringed upon, and not having this crazy master-slave relationship that's holding humanity back from being what we could be. The possibilities are endless, but we're definitely being held back. We have a couple of more guests, Voynich. Should we bring them on?
Cool.
All right, let me remove this flyer. For anyone that wants me to send it to them, just email me at ThePoppycockReport.com and I'll forward it to you. I also have it in non-PDF form. So, and anyone who's inspired to make their own flyers, I just think this is such a cool thing to do. And also I provided him with this QR code for the app, the Flat Earth app. Okay, Voynich, you can stick around with us while we bring on the next guest, and we will now go to Christian F. I'm now adding you to the screen.
Hi there.
Hello, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good, thanks.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, this is my first time calling in any show. This is really neat. Just happened to catch you all this morning, and yeah, thank you. Hey, I had a question maybe for Baldini. What would you recommend if you're talking to a professor who's talking about these elections and saying that it's absolute nonsense that any election could be, that there could be any fraud right now? And you know how professors are, very good at rhetoric. And at what point, you mentioned something about your stream earlier, and stream with Secrets of Saturn.
Secrets of Saturn, yeah.
Went into some of that. What's something to bring up that's not going to be something that could be dismissed easily and moved on in the class, and the professor has to say, well, I have to address this. This is absolute nail in the coffin. Not
electoral college.
Yeah. So here's I think I would preface it with this, right? Is that already that people once they kind of dig in their heels, they're likely to double down. So if he's already stated there's no veracity to it, he's not likely to really accept it. But so I don't want to be the turd in the punch bowl and say you're going to have a difficult time convincing him because he's got to defend his position. However, generally, these are some things you can look at, right? Is that in a real sense, think about this. Do people have a tendency to lie and maybe even cheat to get something that they want? Is that within the human condition?
Absolutely.
When you're talking about the kind of power that's regarded to take the United States presidency and the amount of money that's transacted in that, is that something that people would be willing to lie or cheat for? Certainly. And we've had, we've been bombarded over the last at least 2 years of people saying they would do anything to get Trump out of office. So I don't think that's outside the human condition. If you want to look at some specific evidence, there are a number of things. And if you want to take the time, one guy that went through a bunch of it, and again, there's a number of different places that you can look. But Paul Romano over at Pockets of the Future, he did some collective stuff. Basically, again, looking at these are some basic statistics and historical values in terms of how people voted. One of the things that shows up right away as irregularities is that most of these problems occur in what we would call battleground states, or states that were important to the victory either way. That, for example, despite the fact that much of California territorially is red, the high population areas are blue, and that's pretty much the case across the United States. So some of the battleground states were Arizona, Georgia, and of course Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was a big one. And so these are areas where we find inconsistencies with some of the numbers. As I mentioned earlier, there is not in Philadelphia proper, but in the counties just outside of Philadelphia, most of the, what came in terms of the late ballots or the mail-in ballots were 100% Biden. Any 100% is a statistical anomaly. That's not even really possible, right? But here's one of the biggest things is in Georgia. And so also you could look historically at the way that they voted. Biden got 80,000 more votes than were cast for Obama, and over 100,000 more votes than were cast for Hillary Clinton in the two previous elections. That it seems very unlikely since there was almost no excitement for him. And most people, again, were voting against Trump than were voting for Biden. Additionally, in Georgia, one of the things that occurred there is that many of the ballots that were received, over I think it was over 200,000 or close to 200,000, 180,000 plus, something like that, of the ballots only had the presidential spot filled out. They did not have any of the hotly contested Senate races or local elections filled out. The only thing they filled out was for the president. That seems very unlikely that people who would take the trouble to send a ballot, especially in hotly contested races, when the whole point of the left push was to flip the Senate. And they could not do that. And the only vote that was cast is for the president. Now, again, if you're flipping this around, if you consider it in a conspiratorial manner, that if you wanted to do something like this, you want to have as little people as possible to know about it, right? And so if you're going to fill out, let's say, 1 million ballots, you don't have the time to go through all the positions, right? You're just going to click off the one that you can as quickly as possible. So you're going to have maybe 5, 10, 15 people working on it rather than 1,000 people trying to fill them all out, because you just don't have time to do that. So that's again a statistical anomaly that seems to stand out right in the face of it as being incredulous, actually, that people would only vote for the presidential spot and not vote down ticket. So these are some of the things you can look at. I would highly recommend, if you want some of those numbers, you can go to, again, Paul Romano's channel, Pockets of the Future, and there's about a 45-minute video where he breaks a lot of it down with the actual numbers, and he goes through a number of different people breaking down numbers. So it's kind of a conglomeration of all those things, and you can get an aggregate total. And each of those, he does have the links to that so that you can find it yourself. Some of the places you can find, for example, in Arizona, they do have online, you can get to some of the numbers, but again, you can see that there is very anomalous things in terms of numbers and statistics that would stick out at you if you are familiar with statistics at all, and how numbers work and large groups of numbers. They just don't work that way. And so the way that these have appeared should raise an eyebrow. And then beyond that, anybody saying that there's, it's impossible. I mean, again, methinks thou dost protest too much. There is nothing that is impossible. And if you remember back to 2000, there was a number of testimonials from people who ran Diebold, the machines that did the votes, the election machines, and they had a number of different
hanging.
Not just the hanging chads, but these were electronics only voting machines. And what they did, basically they wrote code that was you could never find, because it basically ate itself afterwards, and it would just change the votes, tabulations, and show all the stuff would come in, and it would just spit out something completely different that was pre-programmed, and then eat itself as part of the executable file. It would disappear, so you could come back and audit it. You would never know that it ever happened.
Wow, that sounds like a wet dream virus.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
yeah, right.
Exactly.
That sounds like the virus that Bill Gates dreams of.
Yeah. We only have 2 minutes till the end. We're going to add our last guest. Seal Kid, how's it going? Isn't Baldini so awesome with that answer? If I was Christian, I would be extremely satisfied
it's great.
with all of that information. How you doing?
Yeah, I hope it's helpful. Yeah, I hope it's helpful. I don't have all the numbers in front of me, but I can at least point you in the right direction and go, those are some places to look. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Seal Kid?
Yeah, hi guys. Rose, love your energy. You're amazing. Baldini, you break things down so concisely. You're fab. So yeah, I'm just going to try and make this quick. It's about people's mental health, really, while all this nonsense is going on, and just reiterating what the previous but one chap was saying. Being outside, seeing people, hopefully without their mask on, just making contact with people, saying hi if you're lucky enough to be able to just stop and have a quick chat with them and realize that we're all going through this together, whether people realize it's nonsense or not, and just making that connection, because while everyone's in lockdown and they're just kind of with their family or not, but they're just sort of so separated, it's important to keep going out, keep exercising, keep maintaining your mental health, and not judging people who don't see it like we do. So that's pretty much it, guys.
That's beautiful, because people's emotional well-being certainly needs to be considered. Many people are not doing well, but mostly those seem to be the people who believe in what the press is telling them. So if you follow along with that, and to that point, I'll just mention what Winston said is in the chat. Right, is it seems like awful lot of effort to go through for something that's already been decided. And again, from my position, all this has very little to do with the ultimate outcome in terms of who wins, supposedly, but more about the people's reactions, responses, and because it's all emotional response. People do not think it through anymore. It's all an emotional response, and what ultimately the idea is to separate people, right, and gain control. And so, if you wanted to create a civil war, that's exactly how you do it. It is to get people excited on the one side and then flip it such that people get very upset and want to fight back. And we know that the left, especially the very hard left, has a propensity for violence. We've seen this with BLM and their protest. They don't give a shit, right? They're going to go out there and set things ablaze and do that sort of stuff. So best way to do that, tell them they won, and then flip the script and say, oh, no, sorry, you guys cheated. And then that gets them really mad, and they're going to blame it all on Cheeto Jesus and then the far right, and you get division right away, right? And I pointed out that from two separate sources, both of them in the military, saying that both the active and the reservists have been told not to go anywhere between all of November up to the first of the year. So and that came in the weeks prior to the election. So, and that was all for domestic violence. So we'll see what happens, but it does seem like they're following a script. And Ceiling Fan Man and I went through this before the election, saying this is what we think will happen. And so far, we've been very, very close indeed. And not because we're psychic, but because we just follow the script and going with what they tell us. They've been telling us in the media this is going on. So to Seal Kid's point, people should take care of their mental health, their emotional health. But for the most part, I see the people in our group are doing pretty well, other than our sadness of what we see around us, and those that we love that are upset and afraid.
Yep, perfect. And to that point, just quickly, even if we disagree with them, don't confront them, don't shove information down their throat, because they're just not ready for it. They need to discover it by themselves.
Plant the seeds, absolutely, and water those things and tend them for sure. And I would go one further and say it's going to be your position when you are not afraid, right? That they will come to you and say, why can you be in this position of not being afraid? And then you can say, because it's not true, right? And you will not seem like the crazy one at that point.
Yep. Lead by example.
Exactly.
All right, gentlemen. Well, this has been a fabulous episode. Thank you so much for saving me 20 minutes in, the great Baldini. We're going to end it.
You don't need saving ever. You're the best.
You're the best, and I loved your answer about just the way that you provide information and you break things down, as Steel Kid said. I just truly appreciate it, and thank you for being my co-host. Voynich, thank you so much for joining us as well. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy that buzz. And to everyone out there in chat, DLive, Facebook, YouTube, I love you all. I'm so fucking sick of this copyright strike, and that's going to be all over on December 2nd, so we can all just be back on my main channel. And so until then, we will press on, bring forth the poppycock, and we will be back with that Poppycock on Tuesday.
That's
Cheers.
right. Poppycock.